Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Moji ji ki jai. Thank you all for joining in. And if this is your first time in Satsang, the way to ask questions is through the chat window. Namaste. Welcome. Namaste. Welcome. Bhagwati ji says, joining you with Nirmai. Welcome, Nirmai. No journeys are required now. No path is required. Nowhere to go. What you are seeking is already here. The Satguru stays in your own heart. Your own being is the Satguru himself. Your own being is God himself. Then what could you be looking for now? Where would you like to go? What would you like to happen? Which event is required to prove to you that you are completely free now? Namaste. Welcome. What you seem to be missing is your own being. And I said seem to be, see? Your own being is the source of all phenomena. Everything that you could look for in the human experience comes from this being itself. And you cannot stop being. So there is nowhere to go, nothing to find. You cannot stop this being. That's why we say that it is not even that the fish is thirsting for water now. The fish in the ocean thirsting for water is a funny example. But this is the water thirsting for water. The self trying to find the self is water trying to quench its thirst. You are what you need to quench your thirst. You are what you have been thirsting for. Where would you need to go to find yourself? How could the self have gone missing that now you are looking for it? So the question, who am I? Or the inquiry, who am I, is the simplest inquiry. It's the simplest question. But for the mind, it is the most difficult. But if you stop relying on the mind for a little bit of time, you will see that you have always been this pure witnessing, which is witnessing all that is appearing. And you cannot stop being this pure awareness. So, what are you right now? We can all check and see what is true for yourself. There is no need even to take my word for it. Just verify whether what is being said in satsang is true or not. Who are you right now? We don't need to go to memory. We don't need to go to imagination. No past is required. No future exists. Right now, what are you? And we can answer what comes to our heart as our true seeing of what I am. I must say, Zoe says, every word you say rings true in my heart, dearest Father, and I know it to be true from my own experience. Such joy. This is very good. You have to check from your own experience. The pointing is pointing you back to your true understanding of your own self. Loni says, I am nothing, spacious nothingness. Yes, very good. So, in the moment, it is very easily seen that I am this, that I am this beingness, and ultimately, I am this awareness, aware of even this beingness. It's very simply seen. Is there any trouble in this? Is there any suffering in this? In this that you see now, Is there any trouble at all? Is there any problem in the right now? We can all check and say, in the right now, is there any trouble? Kapil says, okay, before that, welcome Adam. Vivi said, I am this, yes. And Kapil says, what I can say from my experience right now is, I am aware. And I don't suffer as long as I don't believe a thought, I presume he's saying. I am aware. See? When he says, I am aware, it's not a person that he's talking about. This awareness does not belong to a person. And if it did, if there is still a feeling that this awareness belongs to a person, we must look for this person. Find out if this person exists. And Amaya says, no trouble right now. Yes. Kapil says, I don't. Yes. Stacy says, no trouble at all, very content. Lizelle says, no trouble, only peace and love. This is very good. So, can any of you say that in this moment, in the right now, there is some trouble? Is there some suffering in this present moment? Very good. Lizelle says, not even the mental ability to label it. Yes. Zoe says, any problems are only the problems in a story. Yes. Either the story of the past or a story of the future. But in right now, there is no trouble at all. Very good. And Loni says, no trouble, only was seen. And Zoe says, and the story isn't ever real. Yes, this is very good. Vivi says, all is well. Then, what can come? All of you say there is no trouble right now, not even the concept of suffering exists. You see, it is the rare one in this humanity, it is the rare one who can speak these words. That now, not even the concept of suffering exists. You see? So then now what can happen which can make you suffer? What is the work which is required from the place of non-suffering to go to a place of suffering? What is it that is needed to be done? What do you need to do to suffer now? And I'll wait for some answers.
Stay, Father.
So Ananya and her friend are also here. So if you have some questions, you can also ask. So Ginger says, I cannot ever suffer. I can only imagine I am suffering. And Ishani says, Father, I don't know if this is the question, but just wanted to check that attention in the sense of being is very blissful. Attention resting in awareness is just empty, it feels like. Yes. So, when attention is with the sense of being or the sense that I am, we can still say that there is attention. So, we can see that attention is still on something. But when attention is completely at home or in awareness itself, as you say, then we cannot even call it attention, isn't it? Even the concept of attention is not there in pure awareness. So, attention can only be said when attention is on a phenomenal object. So, that's why we say that if attention is at home, then it is resting in awareness itself. And nothing at all can be reported from there, at least nothing phenomenal. Any of you in some pain or some discomfort of any sort?
She said she's been longing to come here.
No?
Yeah, that's right.
You have a question?
No, Guruji, as of no, nothing as such.
You want to get this fan? This So Vivi says no suffering. Zoe says to suffer, I first have to imagine myself to be a person and limited. And then I have to imagine problems for this imaginary person. Lots of hard work. And Ishani says, although awareness is meant to be higher, it feels like there is a feeling to just be blissful in being. There is a lot of bliss in being with the sense of being. This pure being is here, and maybe to experience this love, this bliss, this peace, this joy could be the reason for being coming into existence. See? Otherwise, if awareness is all there is, then as a modulation of this awareness, why would this being come into play? Maybe it was to experience this bliss. But ultimately, you will see that even this bliss will have no meaning for you. Even this, the highest bliss of being itself, you will see that it's another experience or just another state. But there is no harm in resting in this sense of being. In fact, many call it the ultimate sadhana actually. Naomi says, if I believe the story that something is happening to me, it seems there is always some perceived suffering. But the story about this me person is not real. This is very good. So I'm getting the sense that one of you is in some strong pain or discomfort. So I hardly speak about these things, I know. But suddenly there's this strong energetic force which I'm feeling. And it's completely alright. Just be in satsang.
Sometimes I cannot tell the difference between being and seeing. Is there any difference?
Ultimately, no. But it's pretty apparent in the sense that if I say, can you stop being? What is the sense you get?
The sense of I am here.
So this sense of beingness is here. And when I say, can you stop seeing? What is the sense you get?
The seeing sees the being.
Yes. So that is it.
Am I making sense?
Yes. So ultimately, even this sense of being is perceived, isn't it? And the perceiving is the same. So the same perceiving is perceiving the external world, our internal world, this being, all of this being is being perceived by this pure witnessing or this awareness itself. So even if we, in the waking state, when we say I cannot stop being, even that is witnessed, isn't it? So this witnessing must be prior even to being, even before I am. So, so it is said that the Father and the Son are the same. The only difference is that the Son comes from the Father, but the Father does not come from the Son, although they are the same. So being comes from seeing, but seeing is ever present. It does not come from being. We see that there is being here, or there was no being in the sleep state. There was nothing, even not even being was there to report. But something is able to say that being was not there. So there was an awareness in sleep state also. And the same awareness is here also. So being can come. So being is the immaculate conception, which can come in this waking state, but in sleep state it is not there.
Father, why do I happen to react on these thoughts or the feelings? Why do we do that? Or we happen to relate to those thoughts and feelings and we react in an emotional manner or in an aggression manner. Cry. I don't know what this means.
So first you must know that it's very normal.
Okay.
So you should not first beat yourself up about it. Because if you were to take some random polls on the street, you will find most beings will say, yes, this is true for me also. See? So then you will not feel guilty about it, at least to start. Then you will see that you said I react to my thoughts. Yes. So we can actually look for the next thought to come. And a thought will come. Do you create this thought? Sure about that? That itself is very good. To see that a thought just arises from consciousness or whatever word you want to use. See, a thought just arises, then what happens? So a thought comes. Suppose the thought is this guy is making no sense at all. Then what can happen to this thought?
This will again bring up another thought.
Okay. So when this thought comes up, first your attention goes to it, isn't it? So if attention would not go to it, then the thought would just come and go without it even seeming like it ever happened. Isn't it? Like there are so many objects in this room, but your attention has gone to some of them, and those are real for you. So first there must be this force called attention which acts on a thought. But just by giving a thought attention, do you react on it? So if the thought is in the next life I will be born as a pink elephant, then would we react on this?
We just get the picture of
Yeah, so a
the
picture
pain
would come up, right? And then it would go. But it would not cause us any suffering. Hmm? The suffering would come if you say, why is my best friend behaving in this way? You see? Suffering will come from belief in a thought like this. So a thought of a pink elephant will not cause suffering, although attention has gone to both. So what is the second thing you need to do to get the misery out of a thought? We have a radical way of looking at things. So what else do we need to do to make ourselves suffer as a result of thought? We need to say that this is meaningful to me. This applies to me. You see? This is what we call giving it our belief. So what happens is you could say a thought could be that Ananya should not have brought me. So the thought could be like that, and attention can go to it. But unless you give it your belief, you will not suffer sitting here. The thought would never come, you would find nice, it's all fine. But if the thought comes, why am I here? Or something like that, and we give it our belief, then we are stuck with it. So when you say that I react to my thoughts, this is actually what is happening. And it is very simple for us to be able to withdraw our belief. I know a thought will say and come and say, no, it's not that simple, it's very difficult. You see, but this is another thought. And you can actually choose to believe it or not. The first time it seems a little crazy business type of talk. So, yes, because the mind will come up now with strong resistance. So, all kinds of things could be coming, or you could say it's going blank, or it's all confusing. So, what we could actually try is you don't believe your next five thoughts. You can try this, no? So, we can all actually do this. Don't believe your next five thoughts. Wait for them to come and you count till five as you let go of them. But if something comes which gets your belief, then you say it out, whatever it might be. Don't be scared to expose what it is. You can do like this. Very good. So all of us can do this starting now. We'll let go of we'll not believe the next five thoughts that we get. Possible or not? Or there's something that was very sticky or kept coming back?
It kept coming back, but I still don't know why I'm here.
Why you're here, no? Yeah, it can seem like that.
That's the only one.
Yes.
The others just went away. I happened to the thoughts which just went away. The first five thoughts, I happened to answer to it, yes or no. The answers were only from yes or no. And the first question which arose was, what am I feeling here? Yes, I'm feeling happy. And the next one is,
Oops. This is
namaste. And the next one is Niru has
So
got
the
me.
first one was that what am I feeling when I'm here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm feeling peaceful. And the second question is, has Niru got me to a proper place? Yes. And the third one, am I feeling peaceful here? Yes. And the last question just kept on freaking that, what am I doing here? And answer was, I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know, almost repeated
Yes.
thrice or four times.
But see, it's so beautiful because you have seen now clearly that they are just coming and they are going.
Huh,
You see?
yes.
And it is in our giving them our attention and belief that they seem to get some power. Otherwise, they would just flow. Like the clouds in the sky, actually. They just come and they just go. The sky is unaffected by them. In the same way, you are untouched. But in your giving them this attention and giving them the belief that it applies to you, that is what makes it powerful. Even your responses, that your response could have been, oh, why has Niru brought me here? Then the response could be, yeah, she shouldn't have. That kind of response would have come. But it's lucky that it didn't. But the fact is that you did not create either of the response.
Yeah,
See?
I did
You
not.
did not. So if you're just going to be subservient to these energies which are coming and going, then we are completely at their mercy, isn't it? So if we feel that she should not have done this, anger could have come. Some other thought believed in could have led to some other forms of expression, frustration, anger, rage. So we do not want to lead a life which is subservient to just the content of something which we are not creating. Still sound a little crazy? Yes. It's okay. It's completely understandable. But you will realize that what happens is that we feel that I am thinking these thoughts. But you just said that I did not create them, it's just coming.
It's just coming.
Yeah. So, what makes them my thoughts? Just because they are arising in front of me, does it make it something that I believe? No? So, a thought could come that I really like this satsang, or another thought could come that I really don't like this satsang. Or the more common one actually is that I don't think I'm ready yet. This kind of resistance can come from the mind. But the power of belief rests with you. Like we said that a thought of a pink elephant could come. But automatically the thought of a pink elephant coming does not make you believe that you are a pink elephant. So you have to give it your belief. You have to say something like, okay, I am this. When thought comes that I'm angry now, or I don't want to be here, or I'm not ready, all these kind of thoughts will come. So freedom from some suffering is as simple as this. I know that all of us have heard that it takes a lot of practice and a lot of sadhana to get to this point where we can be free from all our suffering. A lot of prayer, a lot of meditation is required. But all of that is just preparation for us to come to this point. Okay? And for some reason, you are at this point now. Now, grace has to decide which way you go. So, I'm completely open. So, the thoughts could be very strongly resistive. Now, all the thoughts could be that, yeah, just be here, see what happens. So, and you have seen that they just come. In this seeing that they just come itself, you have found the master key to be free from suffering. Because before satsang, what would have happened is you would have said, "But I am thinking this. Why is he doing this to me? Why is this happening to me?" All these kind of thoughts would have come, and they would have seemed like true. They're like mine. You have so much ownership of these thoughts that they seem to run your life. But if you're not to believe them, then what is the? If you're not to believe them, let me just get this back on track. Then what is the problem that could come? And you can share. I know there'll be one or two. If you were to let go of all your thoughts, Then what is the
Then why is it called it's my thoughts, or why is it arising in myself? I don't know.
so these thoughts are arising to create a sense of separation in you, to create this sense of separateness. That I, sorry, what's your name?
Ramya.
That I, Ramya, am separate from Ananya or separate from Ananta. So I am a separate individual who is leading my life. This concept can come only after belief in thought. When you play a video game is a lot more exciting if you believe that you are the character who's playing. It's a joke. Girls usually are not so much into gaming, but there's a game like James Bond and all that. Right? It's no fun if you have no attachment to the character that's appearing. If it's like that, then no fun. But there has to be some voice which is saying that I am this character, I'm going to play this game seriously. Then the game has a lot more juice, it has a lot more bite, it seems a lot more real. So, to make this phenomenal appearance seem real and to make Ramya's life seem separate and important, and for you to seem like you have this control over your life, these thoughts will arise. But usually, what happens is if you're in satsang, there is something inside you which is tired of playing the game. You're tired of all this ups and downs in life, all the suffering, all the problems, all the seeming lack of stability in relationships, and so many other things constantly. We are constantly searching for some stability, isn't it? But it is not to be found in this realm of thought. Thoughts are constantly changing. Your thoughts a few years back are completely different from your thoughts now, isn't it? So we cannot find any sense of stability in this. So if you were to let go of your thoughts, then what could happen?
I would feel free.
You would feel free. That's very good. See, usually what happens is when I ask this question, then people say, "What will happen to my life?" Usually people say, "What will happen to my life? Who will pay my bills? Who will take my thoughts?" Are there's this presumption that thoughts are taking care of me. It's complete falsehood. So if you were to let go of your thoughts, you yourself say that you would be free. It is as simple as that. Now there are two ways. One, I can give you a 100-day program. On each day you do this, next day you do this. And at the end of 100 days, I can tell you a secret. Or the second way is I tell you the secret. Good. So the secret to be free from all of your suffering is to not believe your thoughts. Make it even simpler. Don't believe your next thought. No matter what it's saying. And even if this fear comes, because it's very natural for this fear to come that my life is just going to fall apart or something like that. But it's very, very auspicious that this fear is not coming. But even later, if any sort of resistance comes, just let it unfold. Just experiment with it for a day or two and see that everything will continue to move very smoothly. There will be no trouble at all. So this is the simplest, super lazy man's way to enlightenment. Just don't believe your next thought. Then you will not suffer. And the key for me is the end of suffering. Yeah, I'm not so interested in experiences, events, the awakening experience, the lights appearing, all of that I'm not so interested in. The key for me is the end of suffering. If a being comes and says, "You have taken away my ability to suffer," then that for me is enough. Because without suffering, the sense of separation cannot actually last. Okay, let's catch up on the chat as well. So Vidke had said, "Yes, me Ananta, but I'm glad to be here." Yes. I feel that there was a strong energy felt here, but it has been processed now and it's gone. So I'm feeling a lot more space here now, and I hope it's the same for you. So much love. Looney said, "It has been pure bliss, only seeing, no me, everything arising in the seeing which is sensed as I." Yesterday, together with international teacher, not sure what that means, but saying awareness is the problem for liberation. Bliss collapsed, sense of person came back, only very vague though. Your voice is and pointing is enough to be again. See, any teacher that we go to, we must not just take their word for it. We must validate for ourselves as to what is being said is true or not. So I never say just take my word for it and believe these words. Because it is never in the words actually. The words will never accurately describe to you what you really are. Especially words like this, which make no sense to me at least, which say that saying awareness is the problem for liberation. How can awareness be a problem at all? It is what you are. And if awareness was a problem, then this is a problem that cannot be gotten rid of. So maybe the way he was using awareness, the definition that he was using for awareness is definitely different from what we mean awareness to be. Lizelle says, Anantaji, I recently saw that I was chasing the feeling of bliss that comes as a perfume of awareness slash being. If there was no Ananda, I label that as not in awareness. This is, of course, no longer there, but thought I'd share. This is a beautiful scene because many of us have learned to associate the state of freedom as a particular state. Freedom only means the freedom for all states to arise. Freedom is not a state actually, it is a stateless state. If freedom would not be freedom if it only meant that we must be only like this. Then it would be constrained actually, it would not be freedom. It would be a fearful state of fear of losing a particular state or particular feeling of bliss or joy or love. That is not freedom. Freedom here means that all is free to come. All energies are free to come and free to go. I am the infinite space in which all can appear and go. So there were these uncomfortable feelings which were coming a while ago. They were given space. There was not this sense that they should be resisted or should not be here. And without the resistance, they don't last. Some remnants can last. Some remnants are being felt here also, but it's no concern to me actually. See, because as awareness, I am untouched by whatever feeling is coming. So if it was freedom meant that only bliss should be here, then you could all say that Ananta is not free. Because clearly this strong feeling, some emotional this thing came, some energetic transfer came, and he was not in bliss. Therefore, is he free or not free? Freedom only means that there is no concern about it. There is no fear about it. And then when we stop living our life in fear of what state will come, that is freedom. This is very good, Lizelle. Zoe says, Mike is in satsang with us again, beloved father, just able to read comments. Oh, so lovely. Naomi says, a thought that has arisen in me that has some juice has to do with sharing my joy of the seeing I gained here with the other. Rejects it by saying this makes no sense. It's much better, and this is what I found in my life also, is to not try and tell another. Let them come to you and say, what is it that you have? What makes you so peaceful? What makes you unconcerned by whatever is coming? And when they come to you, that means there is a sense of openness about it. See, so with our loved ones, sometimes that is difficult to do for wait for them to come. So what I suggest is you knock, but you knock gently. So you try to say some words, and you just feel that there is a sense of openness with which they are being received. And if you find that there is no sense of openness, it's good to just step back and wait for the right time to come. Don't try to knock and break the door down because there will be very strong resistance to that. And Naomi says the thought arises of defense, but I realize this is just a thought added to my emotion that I have identified with. Very good. Thrown into the fire. Very good. Ishani says, Father, I think somehow that attention is automatically disappearing in awareness. And there was a slight fear that I am disappearing. But I do realize that this is some old idea trying to get noticed. So, trying to hold on to being or anything familiar. And if attention is going completely back home, you can completely trust this. You can trust this completely. It will seem little unsteady to begin with, that even this most reliant being, the sense of being, attention seems to be stepping away from that even. And it can seem a little bit unsteady, but know that nothing is being taken away from you. This being is also in your service. This is what you will realize. Atma says, Namaste, Father and beloveds. I had problems with the internet connection. Welcome, happy birthday. Hope you have a wonderful day. You are always in our heart. So much love. And we'll wish you have not forgotten Ananya's birthday yesterday. Zoe says, Mike just messaged me with Mike just messaged me and he said, with thoughts there is no peace. Exactly. See? As simple as that. So beautiful. In fact, this could be a beautiful quote because this captures it. If we're still relying on thoughts to find peace, that is not the way to get there. It will just lead us down the garden path. This mind. Very good. Vipke says, yes, same here. Zurim says, Namaste, beloved Father and Sangha. Just a few minutes of satsang today, enough for me to see your beautiful face and feel your presence again. Much love to you. So much love to you too. So much love, Lizelle. Mike says, Hi Ananta, Zoe is passing messages through to me. Very good. I'm so happy you're able to join us in satsang. I think, in fact, he might be the first one ever to join a satsang from a ship. So he's out at sea and he's joining satsang from there. So he's not able to get internet, which is enough for audio and video. And he has this feeling to join at least through chat. Imagine so beautiful that is. So much love to you.
I may expose something.
Yes.
These days, often when I see when everything that just comes and goes and there's nothing to report as such, and when I keep reading the chats of other beautiful reports and how people expose things, there's actually nothing to report. But when I see there's some sort of fear that comes up that uh, you have nothing to report. I mean, what is this? You have nothing to report. So I wanted to expose to see if I'm not seeing it clearly, or it's because when these things keep coming, I keep checking whether this is some sort of a thought if I'm believing into. But there's really, even if I push myself, there's nothing to report. But it just doesn't come out, or there's actually.
So the only report now left is that there's nothing to report.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely fine. I also have nothing to report. So if you feel that there is nothing actually, all is just coming and going, then no problem, no trouble, no suffering. So you feel something, is there something missing in this? Hmm?
Keeps popping up. Are you sure?
So don't need to even be sure about it. So if nothing is sticking, it is completely good. It's perfectly fine. See, the whole world, 99.99% of humanity, you go to them and say, tell me your problems. Get them started and they won't finish. Start from everything. Every relationship, some problem. Money problem, work problem, body problem, problem. So it is a rare being who can say, no problems. I can't report anything to you. So that is not a problem.
Father, I have a
Yes.
question. Whenever I have a problem, or whenever I feel that something is annoying me, or something which is I'm in a doubtful
Yes.
situation, then instead of we feel like sharing it to a close one,
Yes.
we feel that we might get an answer from them.
Yes.
I don't do that. I rather find another random person
Yes.
who is somewhere around me. I happen to share, and though they give me an answer or a suggestion, I happen to not accept that clearly. And then again, I go back to my closed ones, and then again, I share it. And then they just speak to me in such a way that I'm back into my senses. I don't understand why do I always choose a person who's random in the beginning and then go back to my closed ones. I don't understand why.
So I can solve this question, or we can get you to what she's saying, which is that I cannot find a problem itself. Yeah? So either we can figure out where to go with your problems, or we can get you to a point where you cannot have a problem. Which one do you prefer?
I don't want a problem.
Yes. See, because once you're out of problems, then you don't have to worry about who you're taking the problem to. So, what can our problems be about? It can be about relationships, either family or partner or whatever relationships. Second is it can be about work, money, financial security, all of these things. Third, it can be about body, health, pain, body related issues. Any other problem in the worldly realm? These three main ones. And then the rare problem comes that I'm searching for my purpose or I'm searching for my meaning. Ultimately, I'm searching for who I am. So then if this problem comes, then it is very good because all the other problems first get wiped away by this one. Because nothing else seems to be relevant. Once you see that I just want to find out who I am first before I can decide how to deal with something or how to live my life. First, I should at least know who I am. So this also becomes a problem for some time. But these are the four main categories of problems. And we've been asking for some time now, but people have not come up with another category. It's only been this. So first, it is good to understand that it's only this much. Otherwise, there's so many problems. This, that, and the other. Actually, in our life, just these three, four main types of problems. Now, I can tell you very simply that you have no problem. Nothing is ever a problem without our belief that something should be other than what it is. Let me repeat that. Nothing is ever a problem unless we believe that it should not be what it is. Accept that. You can resist it because that will be too much for first satsang to accept this.
I'm just trying to.
See, what the mind will say is, but how can you say that if my best friend is behaving badly with me, then how can you say it's not a problem? Actually, it is not. So you see that because you are untouched by it, it is only the identity which you have picked up along the way. You picked up this identity that I am a person, I am this one's best friend, I am in a special relationship with this one. All of these identities have been picked up. But actually, the person just does not exist. It's too strong medicine. Yes. So the person is only a set of ideas. And the set of ideas which we have about ourselves, like we discussed earlier, keep changing. So where is this person who believes these things about themselves? So we believe I'm an honest person, I'm truthful, I'm a good daughter. All these concepts will be there. But who are they applying to? You can say me, it's okay. But we cannot find this me. So the body is not concerned by the amount of money in the bank. The body is not concerned even with relationships. Then who is this me which is concerned? See, we have this feeling that there's somebody inside this body. But if you were to get a surgeon and say, okay, let's cut and see where this person is, you will not find it. So where is this person that we believe ourselves to be? It actually does not exist. It is only in our imagination. So this person is only a sum total of all the thoughts we have believed. That I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. That becomes the person. Then somebody comes and says, but you are a liar. And because we have a concept about ourselves, no, I'm not a liar, I'm a truthful person, we get attacked, we feel attacked. So then we see all our problems are like this. I joke sometimes and say that if I tell you you're horrible at ice hockey, will that bother you? Will it bother you? You play ice hockey? Okay. Usually it will not bother you because you have no attachment to ice hockey. Right? But if I say that you're not a good friend to Ananta, this kind of thing will bother me. Or you're not a good doctor. Something like that. Wherever we have our identities or our attachments, if the opposite is heard, if somebody says, or if it comes up in our own mind, that is seems like an attack, and we get upset by this. But if we were to ask, so who is he talking about? Who is not a good friend to Ananta? And we find that there is nothing there. Then this thought will not affect you at all. So it's all just this. Sorry. I'm going to get some water.
Namaste. He's he's gone to drink water. He's come back. Is it your wisdom tea?
No, no, it's some, I don't know what it is. Or
It's
did
too
we lose the
late,
chat
no?
window? Oh, here it is. So Lizelle says, see if there is such a thing as mind. Then the mind merges in the self and there is neither the seer nor the seen. She's quoting Sri Ramana Maharishi. We have satsang on this Saturday in person. It's very good to have you. She's also Ramya. We have another Ramya also in the circle. Big happy birthday to Atma once again. And big happy birthday to Ananya. Okay. Thank you all so very much for joining in satsang today. Ji ki jai.